I think before we even talk about that, I think it's very important to understand different types of attacks or threats. The first is an accidental loss, where somebody does something within a company that causes a breach. The second is when there's a motivated external hacker. And the third is when there's somebody inside who's compromised, usually through bribery or blackmail. What we're dealing with here is the second case, where there's somebody external who's causing breaches within the government or within companies. And in many cases, it's financially motivated. In some cases, there are state agendas, so it can be driven by what a state wants. And it's very important to sort of notice that in the state-driven case, we're dealing with folks who perhaps are really an arm for international relations or external policy. It's very rarely motivated out of personal agenda, very rarely motivated for financial reasons. These folks are doing this as an extension of international policy for their countries, and it's using another means. And in fact, a more effective means in some cases, because it gets them on the world stage. And so what we see here is that a country is being very careful to extend itself without perhaps causing the same kind of international incident that throwing a missile around or sending tanks and troops around would do. Actually, I think at the moment we're not faced with a group of sophisticated hackers. We're faced with a group of many groups of sophisticated hackers. The general level of competence is going up worldwide for executing hacks. So what we see is that the financially motivated folks are making more and more of a profit. It's becoming a better form of doing business. There are more people at loose ends as a result of the global economic situation. And so there's people looking for jobs, they've got the skill sets. At the same time, more people are going online and we're doing more things online. And so this sort of general level of sophistication among many groups is going up. And of course that means that in some states there are folks who are available for other work, be it either espionage or direct extension of what a country is looking to do through other means. The attacks that we're seeing at the moment against South Korea and the United States, or we've seen very recently, are in and of themselves nothing to be particularly alarmed about. It is simply, I think, less of a cyber issue than it is an international relations issue. Countries have the ability to extend their foreign policy, and they have a number of levers to do it. And it just so happens that the hacking one gets them on the world stage for a very low cost and gets them a reaction that's out of proportion to the actual degree of threat. So I think the implications are more in the domain of international relations than by saying this is really a cyber incident. This is a way to flex your muscle and get some results that isn't as expensive as doing some of the more serious things internationally is. I think what we can learn from this most recent episode is that the internet has become a way and a place that individuals and countries can exercise their normal relations. It's just like in the physical world. People fall in love, people go to war, people steal, and people find ways to express themselves on the internet. And this isn't limited to us using Facebook and MySpace and things like that. Now nation states are doing it as well. Well, this is the big question. Everyone always asks, what can we do to prevent unauthorized intrusion? And the fact is that you can't actually prevent it. There is nothing that will 100% guarantee it. It is up to each of us in our personal lives, as employees and as citizens, to think what is an acceptable level of risk for what it is that we're doing. I can tell you how to stop all incidents and all intrusions. You should just turn everything off. But that's impractical. There are acceptable levels of risk for the return that we get. And so we need to have it be a structured environment where we say, every time, what are the risks that we expose ourselves to as individuals, the infrastructure and the information that frankly has been trusted to us. There are acceptable risks, and we can do things to manage it, but there's no way really to guarantee ever, by proving a negative, that intrusions can't happen.